And so just make sure you're nice and comfortable seated, because it's quite early. The muscles might still be a little bit stiff, the muscles might still be a bit tight, and the joints might not have oiled quite as well yet, which is why we're going to do this, which is why we're going to get moving. And just allowing yourself now just to arrive in that comfortable seated position. So the sit bones are equally connected with the ground beneath you, and the spine is lengthened. And just take a moment now to allow yourself, your attention to fully arrive on your mat. So just bringing the awareness, first of all, to kind of the facial area. So it's kind of a bit easier to just take the attention here. It's where a lot of the self goes on, what we call our self goes on. And then when you arrive to this area, just allowing yourself to find softness in the face and softness in the jaw and softness in all the little bones in your skull, all the little muscles in the skull, and softness behind the eyes. And then just allow that softness just to move down the body. Allow it to kind of creep down the body, into the neck, into the shoulders, down the upper arms, elbows, lower arms, hands, wrists, fingers. And then down the back, so almost letting the softness creep, so you're finding even more connection with your sit bones and the ground. And even though you're not yet controlling the breath, with the exhalation, you can really just let the softness, the release happen. So without kind of losing that nice, strong, solid, meditative, seated posture, you can just allow release, along with that softness as it moves down through the hips, down the legs, and into the feet. So just taking a couple of moments just to arrive in that sense of release, that sense of softness, that sense of starting being ready to take your practice. And as you arrive here, you might feel drawn, when you arrive in the stillness, you might feel drawn to somewhere physical. You might feel drawn to something that's happening for you mentally. So just take a moment just to focus on that, observe it, don't get involved with it. Just allow yourself to be drawn wherever you need to be drawn. You might find that naturally as you arrive here, you start to lengthen your breath as well. So again, just observing those changes as you arrive in a place where we're going to start to practice. Just being aware of the balance on both sides of the body, being aware of being connected with your body, connected with the present moment, and connected with your breath. So just finding that stillness in the present moment. And we're going to move into alternate nostril breathing in just a moment, just to balance things out. We're not going to take any breath retentions. We're not going to hold the breath. We're just going to be breathing in through the right nostril, then closing the right nostril, exhaling through the left. And we're going to take it in a circle. So we're going to do 4 rounds of breathing in through the right, exhaling from the left, in through the right, and exhaling from the left. And then we'll stop, take a couple of deep breaths in and out, and we'll take it the other way. So we'll inhale through the left and take it out through the right. So 4 rounds of each. So when you're ready, just allowing the spine to lengthen. You might want to open the eyes. I'm just going to demonstrate. So with the right hand is the hand that works the nostrils. 2 fingers come down, the ring finger and the thumb control the nostrils. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in through both nostrils and out. And then we're going to close over the right nostril. Inhale through the left. Close your left. Exhale through the right. Closing the right. Inhaling left. Closing left. Exhaling right. 2 more of these. And when you've taken 2 more, just releasing the hands again, you can take Chin Mudra, hands in the lap or on your knees, and just taking 3 deep breaths in and out. So really start to bring that energy into the body as you inhale. Allowing that release and that stability as you exhale. Nice deep controlled breaths into the whole of the upper body. We're just going to move into just clearing those energy channels in the other direction. So we're going to take 4 breaths again. This time we're going to close the left nostril to start with. We're going to inhale through the right. Close the right nostril, exhale through the left. Closing the left, inhaling right. Closing right, exhaling left. 2 more of these. Make sure the back is nice and straight as we breathe, so we're not kind of just slumping into this, we're lifting into it. And when you've taken those breaths, you can release your hand. Taking 3 more deep, energizing. Think of the energy coming into the body as you inhale. And just releasing the last of that stiff, that stagnant energy as you exhale. You might have the eyes closed here. The eyes might be open with a soft focus. We're just going to gently move into the neck. So just bringing your chin to your chest. Let your shoulders release here. And then bringing the head back to center, just moving over to the right side of the neck. So you might take the ear towards the right shoulder. You might be looking towards the right side, just finding a little bit of stretch in the other side of your neck. And then coming back to center and maybe taking the left ear to the left shoulder, maybe bringing it back to center and taking the nose to look to the left side. And then coming back to center, just letting the shoulders relax. We'll take hands to heart center now. And again, bringing the chin to the chest. So we want to be nice and energizing today. We'll move with the breath. So we're inhaling the arms all the way up, reaching up. Exhale, take those arms wide. So with the arms wide, we're going to inhale them up again, lifting up. Exhale, taking the hands to heart center. Just start to move with that breath. Inhale up again. Exhale. Inhaling. And exhaling, taking hands to the heart center. And you can release your hands. We're going to take the legs in front of us, coming into Dandasana. So because we want to be nice and strong today, we want the toes up towards the ceiling. Just make sure you're sat right on your sit bones. So you've got a nice connection with the ground. We're going to take some nice stretches to each side. So we're going to inhale both arms up first of all. We're going over to the right. Exhale, plant the left cheekbone on the floor, or the left sit bone on the floor, and just start to stretch over to the right. Now, the minute you start to sort of cave forwards, come back up, because we want this to be a lateral stretch. Reach into the fingertips. You might want to look up. You might want to look towards your armpits, whatever feels good on your neck. Just opening the side ribs now. And then coming all the way up again. Take those arms overhead and we're stretching to the other side. So you can make sure you plant that right sit bone on the floor. And you might want to really reach into the left hand as well to find stretch there. Lovely. We're going to come all the way up, reaching up. And then we're taking hands to the heart center. So we're going to release the hands and we're going to bring the right knee in towards you just to start to loosen up that right leg. So again, it's easy to slump now, but we want to sit up as straight as we can. So we're working into that core, sit bones connected with the ground and just taking that right knee out to the side. So we're opening up the hip a little bit. We're going to just take a little stretch over the left leg now. So again, just find lift and length as you inhale. And then reaching forwards over that left leg as you exhale. So try to stay open in the chest as you can. And almost breathe in waves here. So as we inhale, we kind of lift up. And as we exhale, just imagine yourself sort of waving down. Just those gentle waves. Inhaling and exhaling. So we're moving into the spine. Inhaling. And the exhalation. On an inhalation, we're going to walk the hands over towards the right side. So we're just taking a little bit of a walk over that other leg. And the straight leg, that sit bone might come off the floor, but we're looking for a bit of a stretch along the back and into your hip as well. So don't worry if it comes off the floor. Those left toes are still up towards the ceiling. And then taking yourself back to center, we're going to reach forwards and up. And just taking the arms behind us, little back bend here now. So take that right hand flat on the floor, take the hips forward and we're reaching up. So you're reaching right into that left hand. If you want to here, you might lift up the right leg. Sorry, the left leg. Keep the hips pushed forwards for 2, 3, 4. And 5, lovely. So we're releasing back down to the floor and coming back into Dandasana. So just taking legs in front of you again, finding a nice solid foundation and then bringing your left leg in towards you and allowing that to fall out to the side. Sitting up nice and straight. We're inhaling the arms overhead. And exhale, folding forwards. Let yourself arrive where it's comfortable. And then using those waves. Inhale, lift. Exhale. So inhaling, starting to just move and flow over to the other side now. Moving over that bent leg. And then coming back to center, just bringing yourself all the way up. Take the arms overhead, hands come behind you again. And we're lifting up onto the knee, pushing the hips forward. Might be different on this side. Make sure you're comfortable with that hand. And you might be lifting the right leg up this time. Push the hips forward. If that right leg is lifted, point the toe. Have a real stretch. For 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're releasing all the way back down again with control. Nice, just taking the legs out in front of you just for one last big stretch before we come onto all fours. So we're going to inhale, both arms up, both legs are straight, toes towards the ceiling, and we're exhale, just taking that stretch forward. And again, it's not going to be too intense, so just taking those wave breaths. 3 of those. You might want to involve the neck in this. Let yourself settle here for a moment, engage with your breath. And then we're inhaling the arms up. We're taking that little baby back bend again. So the hands can come behind you. Those who feel strong in the core, you can take upward plank. So you're lifting the hips, pointing the toes. Otherwise, and this will be mine this morning, take the feet flat on the floor and we're lifting up, pushing the hips high, shoulder blades together. You can allow the head to coming back down onto your bottom. Just give your wrists a little bit of a roll from side to side. And then we're going to come onto all fours when you're ready. So just coming onto all fours just to prepare for your cat-cows. You might want to pop something under the knees if you've got hard floor underneath you. Just make sure the wrists are feeling okay as well, because we had a little bit balancing on them then. Nice wide fingers, the shoulder blades are broad. We're going to tuck the toes today, and we're just going to start to, because we want to stretch the feet a little bit in a minute, come into a nice neutral position. And you might want to close the eyes here. And this week we've been kind of working on just mixing the breath up a bit. So today, rather than the inhalation coming with the arched spine, we're going to inhale, see how it feels as we round the back, as we send the shoulder blades wide. And then we'll exhale as we come into our cow pose. Inhaling. And exhaling. And you might now start to think about just mixing it up again. So you might be coming into big circles with your bottom, big hip rotations with the bottom. You might be taking side to side stretches. So just doing what feels good to warm up your body. Moving into the shoulders maybe, and just making sure that you stay with the breath. And then when you're ready, just coming back to stillness, and we're just going to work into those toes a little bit. So finding yourself in stillness, and maybe bringing your hands a little bit further forward than the shoulders. So we've done this exercise again a few times this week. My toes are tucked, and I'm just going to think about sending my hips back and my forehead towards the floor. And then I'm going to move myself forward, so I'm taking the weight into the front of my hands. You might want to start to look up here. So your core is engaged as you move forward. Coming all the way back again, finding that stretch, really stretch into those shoulders. And then moving forwards, and maybe you're moving a little bit further forwards. You might be taking the bottom a little bit lower. And then back. And this time, as we move forward, take the shoulder blades together. So we're almost taking a baby back bend here. So shoulder blades together and maybe push the hips forwards. You don't have to come too far, just moving into those areas. Just taking one more of these. Moving forwards, weight comes forwards, shoulder blades together, pushing the hips forwards. And then pushing back into those feet again. So have a really good push into the toes. Really warm those feet up. Reach into the hand. And then we're going to come back up onto all fours. Give the feet a little bit of a tap. Maybe just give your hands a bit of a tap or a bit of a move. Remember, not always keeping the weight in the heels of the hands. That's what kind of can cause some pain in the wrists. And so we're just coming to stillness again, and we're just going to move with that kind of same flowing motion, but we're going to kind of move with the leg now as well. So we're going to take the right leg out behind us. And again, find yourself nice and strong. We're going to point that right leg, and we're going to take ourselves back. As we inhale, the leg comes up. And as we exhale, we come forwards, knee to nose. So inhaling, taking yourself back and up. Exhaling forwards. Inhaling, find that stretch. Exhaling. Two more, inhale. Exhale. You don't have to look forward if it doesn't feel good on the neck. So just taking that leg back. and exhale. So release that knee, have a bit of a wiggle, and we'll take that to the other side. So you might want to take that leg you're balancing on to kind of like the center line of the body for a little bit more support. So taking that left leg behind you for now. And when you're ready, inhale, taking the leg up, pointing the toe. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhaling, take it higher maybe. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhale, 2 more. And the last one. Release your knee. Just take a moment now just to find child pose. So you might want to take the knees wide, toes together, reach into the fingertips. Just let yourself arrive in child pose. If you want an extra stretch into those shoulders, come onto the tips of the fingers. Or you can just let everything release for a moment, move into the wrists, find the breath again. Let the face be soft, let the jaw be soft. So we're going to take the hands back underneath the shoulders, knees back under the hips. Remember, spread the weight evenly across the hands. We're going to tuck the toes, send the hips high, and let yourself find downward dog. So nice broad shoulders, have a walk of your dog, push into your heels. And just find a sense of stillness. So feet are hip distance apart, maybe a little bit more. Weight is evenly distributed across the hands. And just see with the feet if you can come up onto the balls of the feet. So you're lifting your toes off of the floor, and that will help you to lift your tailbone higher. And then you can release those toes and still see if you can find that strength, keep the strength in your legs. Just letting yourself arrive here and breathe. And then we're going to just take that right leg now. We're going to inhale, come to three-legged dog. So taking the sole of the foot towards the back of the room, keep the hips as square as you can. And then just walking that foot all the way through to the front of the mat. Those back toes are off the floor just for the moment, and you're lengthening forwards, lifting and lengthening forwards. And then you can release the back heel now and the back toes. And we're going to take a nice lunge overhead. So we're inhaling, lifting up, and exhale, just sinking a little bit lower. So just think about your shoulders, let them release. If they're stiff, palms face forward, bend the elbows. Taking the arms behind you, interlacing the fingers, bringing them away from your bottom. Take a deep breath in, and you're folding forward. Try not to have the torso rest on that front leg. Try to lengthen forwards. And then inhale, coming all the way back up again. We're going to take the arms overhead, reaching them forwards, and then let's just start to take half splits. So we're starting to take the hands back, take those front toes off of the floor and straighten that front leg. So they always say hips square to the front here. Do what feels nice and where you can feel a nice good stretch in the back of the hamstring. So let's walk the hands forwards once more. The front knee is over the ankle. We're lifting into that back leg. So you're on a high lunge here. And we're just going to start to open out to the right side. So into a twist. Twist is coming from the middle back. Arm up towards the ceiling. Look up, look down, whatever feels better on the neck. Just think about using the breath to move into that twist, to create space, to move into the stiffness. And then coming all the way back down again. Release that foot so you're back into plank. Couple of breaths in plank, half plank if you like. And then we're going to take the hips high and find ourselves back into downward dog. So we're taking a movement onto the left side now, three-legged dog. Bringing that foot forwards to the front of the mat. Just find the stretch to start with and then release the back knee, the back toe. Lengthen forwards, inhale coming up. Exhale, just sink into those hips a little bit deeper. Palms face forward, bend elbows if there's a bit of stiffness in the shoulders. Taking the arms behind you, interlace. Open the chest, deep breath in and folding forwards. Find length in the spine here. Coming all the way back up again. Take the arms overhead and forwards. Nice lot of length in the spine. Starting to straighten that left leg, toes up towards the ceiling. Again, square the hips if you want to, but we're looking for that lovely stretch in the back of the left hamstring. So we're bending the front knee, walking forwards, hands on the floor, tuck the back toes. We're in that high lunge now. So find as much space as you can here. And then planting your right hand, we're going to open up to the left side, arm up towards the ceiling. Hold it here. Keep pushing into that back heel. And releasing the hand, coming back into your plank. Finding a nice strong plank. So you're in two straight lines here. Bottom isn't too high, nor is it too low. You want somewhere in the middle where we can really feel the core working. Send the hips high, coming into your downward dog. Have a little kind of walk of the dog again. Feel like you're really spreading across the whole of the hand. Coming to stillness. If you can, lift those toes off the floor and send the tailbone even higher. Then release the toes. You can release the heels or not. And then we're starting to walk to the front of the mat now. So just starting to walk forwards. And just taking a little fold as you arrive forward. So just folding, feet about hip distance apart. We're going to be quite passive in this fold. So just allowing the crown of the head to move towards the floor. You can hold opposite elbows, just letting yourself hang. And then when you're ready, release those hands. We're just starting to roll up the spine. So just start with the lower vertebrae. Try to let everything hang as much as you can. Lower vertebrae, middle, shoulder blades, shoulders, neck, and head last of all. Just taking a little roll of the neck. And then just finding a nice strong Tadasana. So finding your Tadasana at the front of your mat. And we're going to move through a little bit of a flow now. So feet can come together, big toes together, heels slightly apart if you want to try the balance. Otherwise, feet are about hip distance apart. Nice strong legs, lengthening through the spine, releasing the hands. We're going to inhale the arms all the way overhead. And with that lift, just taking a stretch over to the right side. And we can push the hips a little bit over to the left side if we want to. Coming back to center, taking the stretch over to the left side. Coming back to center. Take a deep breath in as you lift up, and then we're exhaling, we're folding all the way forwards. So we're going to come to a flat back now. We're going to take the hands onto the shins, lengthen forwards. And then we're going to release the hands, and you can step or jump back into your plank. So find that nice strong plank. And then we're going to move through knees, chest and chin. So release the knees, chest and chin, and then inhaling, lifting up. So shoulder blades together, lift up, keep the elbows tight, point the toes, legs engaged, and into our downward dog. So take a nice long deep breath in here. We're going to come up to warrior two, so hip opening exercises to start with, leading with the right leg. So right leg comes up and taking it to the front of the mat, taking the left toes towards the side of the mat. Come up, straighten the front leg to start with, make sure the feet are properly aligned. Front toes facing towards the front of the mat, back toes on an angle, and then bend the front knee. So we're just trying to push that upper thigh to kind of create a little bit of stretch on the inner upper thigh. Keep the connection with that back foot and the ground, and we're looking over the front fingertips. Shoulders are relaxed. So we're going to move into extended side angle, however you want to come into it. So we want to create space first of all on the side. So reaching up, pushing into my back heel and lifting up. Hand can come on the floor or it can come onto your thigh. Up to you. Keep that front knee strong over the ankle, but don't lose the back foot here. Now, if you've got some extra rotation in that shoulder, you might bring it over the ear, staying nice and open through the side of the body. And you're kind of reaching up here as well, so you've got a nice angle along the side of your body. So you're either down here or you're here. Whatever you do, keep that back foot engaged. We don't want to just dump everything into the lower back. Lovely. Push into the back foot, come all the way back up, find warrior two. And let's move into that balance now. So either taking your block or brick or piece of equipment or the floor and thinking about just finding the balance. So let's first of all take the leg up. Flex the foot if you can. Make it strong so it feels like you're touching the wall behind you. And then start opening to the left side. Left arm comes overhead, and then we start stacking the hips. Holding it here. 3, 4, and 5. Now with control, bend that front knee, releasing the back foot. And we're going to take ourselves into a side squat now. So lengthen forwards and just start to walk the hands towards the left side. Finding a side squat here. Lovely. So you're coming into your side squat, just taking the hands over to the right side, lifting up into your left hand. And you might then want to just take the stretch over as well now. Push the hips forward. And that left foot is flexed up towards the ceiling. It's a bit of a balance. I've got the wall. It's great to have the wall there. Release the hands down onto the floor. And just come forwards again. And then walking the hands back round to the front of your mat so you can find your plank. So just finding plank for a moment. And then move through knees, chest, chin. Moving into your back bend. Lifting up. And then into downward dog. So just letting yourself arrive in your downward dog, taking a nice deep breath in. We're going to lead with the left leg now, so warrior two. Inhale the left leg up, taking it to the front of the mat. Take the hips to the side, and then cartwheel yourself up by pushing into that back leg. Front leg straight, make sure you're nicely aligned, and then bend the front knee. Back foot's connected with the ground, shoulders relaxed. Find that sense of stillness and look for space when you're in your still postures, nice and strong. So let's move the hips forward. So reaching forwards, hands coming onto either the leg or the floor, and then reaching up through the other arm. Staying nice and open. You might have an option here to take the arm all the way overhead and reach into the fingertips. Keep the hips as open as you can and breathe. 2, 3, 4. Keep pushing into the back foot. 5. Coming all the way back up. Find your focus now. And when you feel as though you're nice and calm, start to move into that half moon. So taking the leg out behind you, then stacking the hips, opening the chest up towards the ceiling. Flex that back foot. Three, 4, and 5. So with control, we're releasing the back foot to the floor. Finding length as we walk forwards, and then we're walking towards the right side now. So we're facing the long side of the right side of the mat. That makes sense. So just let yourself arrive here first of all, sitting in your half squat. Those right toes are up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to walk the hands over to the left side. Find that balance so the core is engaged, arm overhead. And then you might just think about pushing the arm over the ear. Lovely, holding it here. Really reach into those fingertips. Might feel different on this side. For 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lovely. So bringing yourself back to center for a moment, just by the center of the spine, and then walking the hands around into your plank. So we're moving through knees, chest, and chin now, coming up into a back bend, and then into a downward dog. Let yourself arrive here. Take 3 deep breaths in and out. The inhalation brings in that energy, and the exhalation releases. You can be still if that's what you need today, or if you need to be in movement, you can move into the heels as you're in your downward dog. And when you've taken those 3 breaths in and out, you can jump forwards or step forwards, find a half lift. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, taking the arms all the way overhead. And exhale, taking hands to the heart center. Lovely. So you can release the hands again. And we'll move through another little flow again. So inhaling the arms overhead. This time we're going over to the left side. Coming back to center, keeping both feet connected with the ground. Over to the right side. Coming back to center. Folding forwards. Crown of the head to the floor. And then finding a flat back. You might want to bend the knees. If you're feeling strong, maybe you want to hop back or step back into your plank. You can move through your pressure or take knees, chest, chin. And just opening the chest a bit more, bring that energy in if you can. So the legs are nice and long and straight, opening up. Elbows are kind of tucked in gently, shoulder blades together. And then into your downward dog. Take a nice breath here. We're coming to warrior 1, leading with the right leg in a moment. So when you're ready, you're inhaling the right leg up, taking it to the front of the mat. Plant the back foot on the floor and lift forwards and up. Shoulders are relaxed. Hips are facing the front of your mat. So if you're kind of coming off to the side, just bring those hips forwards. So we're going to just take the hands together to the heart center, and we're taking that front leg now to in front of us. So we're starting to balance on the right foot, bring the left leg forwards and up. Take the arms overhead, reaching up, tailbone towards the ground. Release those hands again, coming back into our warrior. So take that foot back with control and release it. Straighten the front leg, take the arms overhead, and rebending. So that front knee is over the ankle. So we're going to move through vinyasa now. So we're going to take yourself forwards now, hands onto the floor. But first of all, we're just going to have a bit of a stretch here. So take a deep breath in, take the crown of the head to the floor. Again, try not to have the torso balancing on that right leg. And then lifting forwards, plant the hands coming into your plank. Move through knees, chest, chin, and take a nice strong back bend. Coming into your downward dog. So left leg now into warrior one, inhaling, and then taking it to the front of the mat. Plant the right foot down, lifting up, straighten the front leg to start with, find the length in your spine, and then rebend. Back foot's connected. Let the shoulders relax. Keep breathing. Arms can come together to the heart center and starting to take the weight forwards, knees coming forwards. With control, we're taking that right foot backwards, planting it on the floor, lifting up, finding that warrior one again. So from here, we're reaching forwards, coming all the way down, hands onto the floor, lengthen forwards first of all. Keep the back foot pushed into the ground as you take your fold. So crown of the head towards the floor. Lifting up, find length, plant the hands coming into your plank, and then move through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Back bend, take lots of energy in here. And then into your downward dog. Take 3 nice, deep, nourishing breaths in your downward dog. And then you can jump or step forward, taking yourself into a half lift. So we're coming into our chair pose from here. So we're going to start to bend the knees now, core engage, lengthen forwards, and coming all the way up into your chair pose. Lovely. So just making sure you're finding feet connected with the floor, because we're going to move into eagle. Feet connected with the floor, knees are over the feet, pelvis is neutral. Just straightening those legs slightly, we're going to balance on the left leg. Open the arms, so we can find eagle arms when ready. And then either start to take your bind, or you can, if you want, come into figure of 4. Take the bind and squeeze the legs tight. So sorry, figure of 4, and then take it around, or you can wrap it around. So we're squeezing our thighs tight now. The foot that I'm balanced on, that arm goes over the top, and then I can take a bind if I want to with my arms as well. Shoulders up, sorry, elbows at shoulder height. 3, squeeze the thighs, 4, 5, releasing everything. Release the leg, and again, arms are coming overhead, we're going in for a fold. So we're folding forwards. Maybe if you can see if you can really plant those feet in the floor and send your tailbone skywards. So we're really trying to lengthen through those legs. Push the legs up towards the ceiling. Push the bottom up towards the ceiling. Take the crown of the head down towards the floor. Breathing all the way through this. Engage your core and coming into a half lift. And then bending the knees so that the bottom comes backwards, taking yourself into chair. Shoulders relaxed. Straightening the legs a little bit, the arms coming out wide, balancing on the right foot. So either taking figure of 4 and sliding the leg down the back, or taking your bind with a wrap. Squeeze your thighs. The foot you're balanced on comes over, and then bring the elbows up to shoulder height. Keep the focus. Squeeze the thighs for 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling, release. Arms come overhead. Moving to fold forwards. So folding forwards onto the floor,
crown of the head down. And we'll take a few breaths first of all to bring everything down in your forward fold. So think about connecting your feet with the ground. Think about sending tailbone towards the sky, crown of the head towards the floor. Think about inhaling, creating that length in your spine, and exhaling, flexing from your hips. So we're going to plant the hands on the floor now, and we're going to come to a flat back if we can, stepping both feet back into your downward dog. Take 3 breaths in and out here, and then you can release to either child pose, knees together, arms behind you, palms facing up, or you can take extended child pose, whichever feels better for you now, and just letting the breath kind of return to its natural rhythm. So we're just going to move now onto our bellies and just take a couple of moves here before we finish off with a twist. So taking a couple of back bends to really energize for the day ahead. But first of all, we're just going to move into all of the joints. We're going to take half frog on each side. So starting with the left side, bring the left knee so that it's up at hip height. Bring the left ankle so that it's at knee, so you're in a right angle, so that at knee and the ankle are aligned, and then flex the toes. On the left side with the arm, the elbow comes to shoulder height, and then the wrist is parallel with the elbow. You might rest your head now on your arm or on the floor looking towards the left side. And then we're just going to move into each joint. So just give the ankle, first of all, a bit of a wiggle. And then just moving into the hip. So just almost moving, lifting your lower leg off the floor and just moving in circles from the knee in both directions. And then you can release that and just taking then the wrist into circles. And then just moving into the shoulder. So releasing the wrist off the floor, just moving into that shoulder. And then can release and just find maybe a little bit more space in those hips, flexing that left foot. And we're going to take that to the other side now. So you're going to straighten both legs, and we're going to come by way of a nice strong back bend. Bring the elbows forward, toes together, because we're coming into Sphinx. So those elbows are either directly under the shoulders or a little bit further forward. Taking the lower arms out to the sides, so you're kind of opening up the chest. Point the toes and pushing the pubis bone into the floor, and we're lifting up now, shoulder blades together. Okay, releasing all the way down and finding that frog on the other side. So knee comes out to the side, elbow out to the side. On the right side now. And then you're lifting the ankle off the floor when you arrive. Just take some movements into that ankle. And then you can release it. And then lifting the lower leg off the floor again. Just move into the hip if you can. You might even take the knee off the floor. It's quite strong on the muscles there though. And then release. And then into the wrist. And into the shoulder. And just coming just to find a bit of stillness on that right side. And then coming back to center. So Depending on where you want to come, you can either come back into your Sphinx pose. If you want to take it up a little tiny notch, you can make sure as long as you feel nice and open in the lower back, you can push the pubic bone into the floor and just start to straighten up into seal pose, shoulder blades together. Point the toes, holding it here and breathing. For 2, 3, 4, open the chest. 5, deep breath in. Exhale, releasing to the floor. And just find yourself back in your child pose, just to counter that back bend. So we're going to roll onto our backs now. Try not to make too much movements as you do. And just to finish off, let's take a nice twist. So arms up to shoulder height. And you can take a choice with your twist here. See where you need to take your body. You can have both knees bent. If you want a bit of extra into those hips, you can cross one leg over the other. So I'm going off to my right side, so my left leg is crossed to find stretch in the left hip. Or I can even have, if I want to, that right leg straight and the other leg bent. So it depends where you want to have the stretch. That'll take it with the leg straight into the lower back a bit more. Then take the knees over towards the right side. You can take the glance over the left shoulder or up towards the ceiling. And you're just letting everything release here. And then when you're ready, just coming back to the center, release the feet. Finding your center point and then crossing or doing the same on the other side. So wherever your stretch was on going to the right side, take it over to the left side. And coming back to center. Make whatever movements you need to make now. So have a stretch, have a roll, take the arms overhead, do whatever you need to do, put a sweater on or socks, just to let yourself find wherever Shavasana is for you today. So make sure you're nice and comfortable, and you can just allow the body to release. And you're closing your eyes. That feels comfortable. And you're letting your breath return to its natural rhythm. And you're letting your body release, allowing yourself to be supported by the ground. And as you allow the body to release, bring yourself to be fully in the present moment. So connected with the world around you, aware of what's happening for you in the present moment, but fully immersed in what's happening for you physically as well. And you might find as you arrive in this place of stillness that you do need to release a little bit more from the belly, from the mind, or somewhere on the body. So just at the start of your Shavasana, if you do need to take 3 deep breaths in and out, you can. And then you can allow yourself, your energy, to settle into relaxation and awareness.
So as the body's come to relax, and hopefully as the mind has stayed as still as it can, just take your attention back to your breath. Just be aware of where the breath is mainly happening in the body. And if it is high up in the chest, just start to think about just sending it a little bit deeper into the body, being mindful about sending that breath just lower into the body, into the diaphragm or into the belly. Just think about taking those in-breaths of the new fresh energy of the new beautiful sunny day. And then just start to become more aware of your body, any sensations in your body. Maybe you have sunbeams on you. Maybe you can feel the heat of the sun. Maybe you can feel the energy working in the palms of your hands and across your body. And let yourself be fully present with any sounds. And then you can just start to think about moving into your body, into your fingers and your hands and your wrists, and maybe the toes and the feet. And if you want to stay in a prone position, if you want to be lying down, then you can stay lying down on the floor. Or if you want to come to seated to close your practice, you can bend the knees or have a stretch, roll over onto one side and take a few breaths here before bringing yourself up to seated. So when you arrive in seated, just coming to be still wherever feels comfortable. Finding that strong seated position like at the beginning of the practice. And then when you're ready, you can take the hands to the heart center. You might want to use the energy that you might have created in the practice by rubbing the palms and placing them wherever you might need that extra energy today, somewhere physical, or a chakra, or the mind. And then you can close your practice however you wish. Thank you very much. I'll just pop everybody on sound again so that I can hear you. I did